So hello everyone, welcome to EduTap, and I hope guys that you are preparing really hard for your upcoming examination of NABARD. Notification is out now guys. The main focus of yours should now be focusing on the merit areas, that is ESI, GA, ARD, and in all these sections one of the most important thing is current affairs, and in current affairs the most important thing is guys PIP. So in today's lecture we will be again covering the important topics from PIP in the form of MCQs that is relevant both for your phase 1 and phase 2 of examinations of RBI, SEBI and NABARD. And the day for today guys will be basically the 12th and 13th of July. The most important topics on 12th and 13th of July. One thing that we have seen in the PIB from the past 2 days is there are a lot of the schemes that are being talked about in the PIB sessions. So I will be discussing in this session all those specific schemes that are being seen in the news. Okay, and if I talk about the important thing here, the topics that we will be discussing today are relevant both for your phase 1 and phase 2 of the examination. Now let's start with the first topic. The first topic is talking about a very important system that is being launched for the import monitoring of the paper system. The name of the system is paper import monitoring system. Now guys, the important thing that we have seen here is that you have to first look at the question here is it is basically being implemented or introduced by Directorate General of Foreign Trade under the Ministry of Commerce. Okay. Now the important thing is in this import monitoring system is what thing has been done is it has basically amended the import restrictions, import policy of the paper products that was earlier been given free status. Now it has been given a free status but subject to some compulsory registration. Now these are the key things that you have to look at this question itself. That is, compulsory registration is required. Instead of just a free registration, you now require a free compulsory. It is free subject to some compulsory registration on the import of papers. Now the question that I am asking you here is, it will be effective from which of the following date? The answer here is that is it will be effective from 1st of October 2022. But if it is being implemented from 1st of October, now we might be feeling, sir, what is the reason that it has been seen in use in the July? So guys, the online registration for this compulsory registration will be started from 15th of July. That is the reason this paper import monitoring system is being seen in use. So that has to be discussed quite in detail now, because this is a new initiative that has been started by the government, which is again important for us. Okay, ji? So let's talk about the thing here. As I've discussed, it is a paper import monitoring system. Online registration will be done from 15th of July. Now if I talk about the important thing here, it says that the paper products, because compulsory registration is required, but it has been mandated that there are some products which are excluded from mandatory registrations like currency paper, bank bonds, check paper or security printing papers. So you have to see here a common sense thing has to be applied. Government has considered the security of the government here also. Because currency printing is one of the most important paper. You cannot say कि आप currency import करवा लोगे. उसके लिए आपको mandatory registration should not be required there. Because this is a very important document from the government perspective. Currency papers, bank bonds, or the security printing papers or your checkbooks. These are the important papers which have been excluded here. This is a simple thing. Remember here is for me my checkbook, my cash, my currency. जो चीज आपके लिए important है वही चीज को बैंक गवर्नमेंट ने exclude कर दिया है. This is the first important point that you have to remember here. Then the purpose here is to reduce the import on others category basically that is being done. तो paper import others category में आ रहा था, उसको आपको reduce out करना है in this specific monitoring system. Now let's come to the second question. ठीक है, second question that I'm asking you is which of the following statements are not true? Whenever I tell you, whenever you are attempting the statement based questions, the most important thing to focus on here are the keywords. So first keyword here is not true. ठीक है, that is the question we have to see. Now let's focus on the important thing. Mandatory registration, currency paper, बैंक बॉन्ड और चेक पेपर्स दैट वी हैव सीन इन द इनिशियल चीज. ठीक है जी, चलो. इट विल रिक्वायर एन ऑटोमेटिक रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर. ठीक है जी. फी इज 1500 ओनली. सो दीज आर द two keywords that we have to focus here. Then the third keyword, automatic registration number, validity is 75 days. If you look at the keywords here, start focusing on the keywords, you will be able to solve this question in a very rapid manner. ठीक है, यहाँ पे तो मैं आपको पूरा I am explaining you each and everything, but when you will be attempting this question in the paper itself, focus on the keywords, guys. You can easily solve the question here. Now here, the second statement is incorrect because it is not talking about 1500. The fees is 500 rupees. Now let's discuss this system, what this system is talking about. If I talk about this system, guys, it is applicable on, as I have discussed, the name is suggesting on paper reporting, but the important thing here is by a domestic territory unit area. Then I talk about mandatory registration, as I have discussed in the starting also, which are excluded from mandatory registration are currency paper, bank bonds, check paper or security printing papers. Now, when I talk about automatic registration number, for which the online facility is available from 15th of July, important thing here is you have to pay rupees 500. But the important thing is this has to be paid in a specific period of time. What is that specific period of time is? It should not be earlier than 75th day or not later than 5th day of your import consignment. This is the important thing. If your import consignment, let's say, is on today, that is on 14th of July, 75 days prior or after 5 days, within this specific period, I have to pay this automatic registration fees of rupees 500 only. Then after that, I will get an automatic registration number which will be valid for a period of 75 days. Now, if I talk about this validity here, the important thing here is that is multiple consignment bills will be allowed here with the same registration number. The only thing is the validity period of registration should be in permitted quantity. ठीक है, it should be in permitted quantity. It should not be like that कि मैंने आपको बोला है your registration number is basically for 100 goods but you are importing 120 goods, so that will not be valid here. But it could be multiple consignment, you can brought that thing. That is the important thing. Registration is required at the point of import by a unit. Even in SEZ warehousing, there it is required. Okay? But when I talk about where it is not required, it is not required by the domestic territory unit area in terms of custom clearance. This is the important thing. In terms of custom clearance, you do not require a separate registration. But for at the point of import, you require a proper registration number. Okay? Now, if I talk about important thing here that I've said is, if there is change in some 8-digit code or the higher security code here, then the registration, then the DTA will require a separate registration. This is the important thing that is talking about this paper import management system. So this was all about the system. Okay, ji? Now guys, coming to the next question that is talking about a scheme, that is the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. So when I talk about the scheme, okay, ji, let's talk about the first question. First question is which of the following statements are incorrect with respect to the scheme, that is Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. It was launched in the year 2020. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is the nodal ministry, implemented till 2024-25 here. Now, see again keyword. Okay, ji, and implementation. So if you look at the keywords here, the basic focus of the scheme is basically asking about here is launch year, nodal agency, and the implementing tenure. This is the thing that have been asked here, and here we know that option 2 is incorrect here. I am sorry, it has been marked here wrong. Okay, I will mark it correct here. Option 2 is wrong because it is not Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. It is Ministry of Jal Shakti. That is the important thing. It is a scheme that is implemented by Ministry of Jal Shakti. Launch year कौन सा है? 2020 में है. The purpose here is to make India open defecation free. ठीक है? To ensure the people that they should focus more on open defecation free behavior. ठीक है? Now these are the objectives, that is liquid waste management has to be worked on. ठीक है? We will be focusing on cost effective and appropriate technologies will be focused on. Positive impact on gender technology will also be done there. ठीक है जी? Then if I talk about the fund sharing, so it is 90:10 for northeastern states and Himalayan states, 60-40 for other states, and 100% for UT, which means now it is not a central sector scheme, it is a centrally sponsored scheme. So, implementation till 2024-25 in a mission mode. And if I talk about the components here, so these are the important key components on which this scheme will basically be focusing on. ठीक है. So now just a brief, I think you might have discussed, you might have learned this Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin a lot of time. My point of here is that you now need to remember this scheme because the scheme is being seen in news in PIB. So that's why this scheme is very, very important for us. If I talk about the importance here, there was an article on PIB which was basically talking about the initiatives that are being highlighted by the ministry on the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Okay? They were saying that yes, we will be working more and more towards the district governors will be working on so that we can better the implementation of Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin here. But no information was shared there. This is the important thing. No important information was shared there or data was shared. But this tells us if a scheme is being seen in news, we have to cover that scheme holistically. That's why we have framed a question on Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Now if I talk about the next question on this scheme. So under the scheme, the incentive of how much rupees will be provided for the construction of IHL house for all new eligible houses. What is the amount here that will be provided? So guys, it is 12,000 rupees. So if I talk about the amendment that was made in the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin a year back, okay, the amendment was that yes, the unit cost of these enhanced houses was increased from rupees 12,000 to 12,000. So this tells us one thing, that you don't have to remember only the current data, but the factual data is also important for your examination. Okay, ji? Then Swachh Grahis will also be set up, which will be basically an army of foot soldiers that are set up under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. This is important. Swachh Grahis is a foot soldiers who will be working to implement this Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Then guys, an incentive of rupees 12,000 will be provided to those persons who are basically constructing the new houses. The eligible persons who are constructing new houses will get an incentive of rupees 12,000, and those persons who are not eligible or are under the above poverty line, they will be encouraged to construct toilets. They will not be given any incentive money, but they will also be encouraged so that they should construct more and more number of toilets here. Then this was all about the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Then the next scheme that was being seen was the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay? So Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, one of the most common scheme that NABARD is fond of asking question on. Okay? NABARD is being consistently asking questions on Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana from the past 2 years. So this year also we are expecting question on Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. But guys, because the scheme is being seen a lot of times, so there might be a possibility that a question could be asked little bit in depth. हो सकता है basic question आप पूछें, in depth question पूछिए आपको. Now let's start with the first question here. The first question that I'm asking you here is that basically which state has decided that it will be re-implementing the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So this is the key word why this scheme was seen in news, because the state has said that it will be re-implementing the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, and the answer for that is Andhra Pradesh. So guys, Andhra Pradesh has said that they will be re-implementing the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana because they have discontinued the scheme in the year 2019. So in the year 2019, the scheme was discontinued by Andhra Pradesh, but now the Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy has thanked the central government because now the scheme will be re-implemented in the Andhra Pradesh from the Kharif season of 2022. So this was seen in news in 12th of July, and this was the thing, see, from Kharif season of 2019, the scheme was shelved in the Andhra Pradesh, but now it has again started to re-implement the scheme. Now let's talk about the scheme. Under this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, what is the cap on center's premium subsidy for the irrigated area crops? So we know there are different subsidies that is being provided by the central government on different types of lands. So question I'm asking you here is, the keyword here is the center subsidy on irrigated area crops. So what is the percentage subsidy here? The answer is that is 25%. Guys, these are kind of questions. You have revised this scheme a lot of time, but this is a time to invest here to solve the most number of MCQs, because this will help you to analyze or to channelize your study that you have worked on. Okay, this will really help you, because I think most of you have read Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana a lot of time, but this type of questions will tell you whether you remember the scheme at this point of time or not. ठीक है, बेसिक क्वेश्चन नहीं याद करने, खरीफ सीजन में कितना % क्रॉप मिलता है, उसमें कितना मिलता है. These are not the important things. Important thing is this kind of thing. That is the question might be asked, which will be in depth also. Now guys, coming to the next question on the same scheme is the scheme, that is the correct one, the correct statement about the scheme. It has replaced the and modified the National Agriculture Insurance Scheme. The second thing that I'm asking you is that the states are basically now being allowed to set up their own insurance companies for implementing the scheme. Then the next question is a provision of 2% has basically been made for administrative expenses under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now see the common questions we were expecting. Launching ministry, okay, Kharif season, Kharif horticulture, Kharif crop, Rabi crop or horticulture, premium that will be paid by farmers, voluntary participation of farmers. These are the common things which we might be knowing and we will be saying, yeah, I know the scheme. But see in the questions, nothing on that sort of thing has been asked. This is how examiner is making the question difficult, because the common things that the students know, they are not asking question on that lines. They are asking question on some other lines which requires a depth knowledge of your scheme preparation also, especially the flagship schemes of the government. Now we talk about here, the third statement here becomes incorrect because it is not 2%, it is 3% of administrative expenses are basically being provided under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now guys, let's talk about the scheme here. We know the scheme is being implemented in 2016. It is a scheme of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Diksha ma'am has taken a session on the scheme also earlier on. I think if you have not seen, you can see her video also. But if I talk about my here, the important thing, if I talk about in a brief, what this scheme is basically talking about, basically the purpose is reduction of the premium burden on the farmers. That is the main logic why the scheme was seen in news. And if I talk about scheme, what it will do, if premium burden will be reduced, it will basically provide a financial support to the farmer. Okay? If financial support is provided, it will stabilize the income of the farmer. So see, make a relation here. Premium reduction, financial support will be provided, stabilization of income will be there. Then if a stabilization of income is there, you could adopt some innovative and modern agriculture practices. And if you are motivated enough to implement the modern agriculture practices, you will get an ensured creditworthiness also, because your debt burden will be reduced. This is the main focus of the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now if I talk about the beneficiaries here, earlier all farmers, it was compulsory for the lonely farmers, but now it has been made voluntary when the scheme was modified in the year 2020. Now if I talk about all farmers, these are the important things. Including the sharecroppers and tenant farmers are also eligible for the benefit of the scheme, because these are the common points, guys. Basic points are here which generally students feel कि when in the time of exam pressure, these are the points which students generally feel कि मुझे नहीं आते. They got fear of this thing. How this question has been asked? All farmers, sharecroppers, they might not be asking all farmers, they might be asking a statement that sharecroppers are eligible for the scheme. Then we got confused whether sharecroppers are there or not. So this is the thing that we have to work on. All farmers, including sharecroppers and tenant farmers, if they are going notified crops, they are eligible for a scheme. As we know, it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Now, as we talk about the key features, it has replaced or modified the National Agriculture Insurance Scheme. Okay, 0.5% of the premium is total premium is basically collected by the insurance companies, which has to be spent on information economic activities. Then the states are given the option, as I have asked the question, to choose their scale of finance for any district, or they can also run a scheme or for additional risk. Allocation will be done to business insurance companies for 3 years. Then if I talk about states must not be allowed to implement the scheme in subsequent season in case if they are delaying. If they are delaying in releasing the premium, which means if you are not able to release a premium and you are saying that I will be implementing this Fasal Bima Yojana season by season, then it's of no use. That has been clearly mentioned here. States will not be able to implement the scheme till they are not able to repay the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, ji. Then states have been allowed to set up their own insurance companies. I have asked this specific question itself. This is the common thing which every one of you know. कि प्रीमियम कितना देना है, that is 2% for खरीफ, 1.5% for rabi and 5% for horticulture, ठीक है, और commercial crops. Now if I talk about the other important thing here, that is the central government's contribution to subsidy here. It is 30%, that is for unirrigated area. 25% that I have asked you, that is for irrigated area. But what is irrigated area all about? Irrigated area, it has been specified here, those districts who are having 50% or more area which is irrigated through water will be considered as the irrigated area states. Okay, and here 25% will be contributed by the center, and it will be 90% for the northeastern states. Now when I talk about the other important point here that needs to be analyzed is, guys, that it is also giving you a provision for administrative expenses. Yes, a provision of 3% is also been given under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, that will be catering to administrative expenses of states. So these are the most important thing. In a crisp manner we have covered this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now guys, talking about the next question. So next question is, because the Prime Minister has recently inaugurated the Deoghar Airport. Deoghar Airport in Jharkhand has been inaugurated, and here he has briefed about the two schemes. One was about the Udan scheme, and the second scheme is basically a scheme of Ministry of Tourism which is focusing on religious importance. And here the Baidyanath Dam or Baidyanath, not dam, so Baidyanath Dham at Deoghar basically will be inaugurated under this specific scheme. So now you have to tell me which scheme is being talked about here. The first question I am asking, which scheme is basically being talked about here? Religious scheme of Ministry of Tourism, that you have to tell me. It is Prasad scheme. So Prasad scheme is basically focusing on the religious importance, and it is a scheme of Ministry of Tourism. So वहां से याद रखो, रिलीजन में आपको क्या मिलता है? प्रसाद मिलता है ना, तो वो प्रसाद ही ये स्कीम का नाम है. ठीक है जी. Now if I talk about, so guys, recently as I have discussed, Deoghar Airport has been inaugurated, which is the second airport of Jharkhand that has been inaugurated by the Prime Minister. And during his inauguration, he has told about this Baidyanath Dham also, for which this airport will provide a better connectivity. And this Dham has basically now been implemented under this scheme of Prasad scheme. Now let's discuss about the Prasad scheme. Which of the following are the objectives of the Prasad scheme? So see, first thing is local arts, culture and handicrafts will be provided. Okay, which will be on the identified religions. Okay, so this is important. See, keyword here, religious base पे आप लोग handicrafts को promote करना चाहते हो. You want to enhance the tourist attractiveness in sustainable manner by developing a world-class infrastructure. Then again, based on religious destinations, then pilgrimage destinations will be formed down here, and then there will be community-based development, tourism concept. So which means the tourism related to religious. So देखो सभी पे, in all these options, religious promotion or religious tourism is being promoted through this scheme. So which means all are the objectives of this specific scheme, that is Prasad scheme. Now coming to Prasad scheme here, guys, if I talk about the scheme, it was launched in the year 2014-15. ठीक है. If I talk about Prasad, so Prasad का नाम देखो, it is pilgrimage, rejuvenation and spiritual heritage and augmentation drive. So which means pilgrimage, spirituality, religion is the core concept here. This is the thing that you have to remember this Prasad scheme. और simple याद रखो, if I talk to you, religion में जब भी आप किसी religious place पे जाते हो तो आपको क्या मिलता है? प्रसाद मिलता है. So you are considering a prasad, you are getting prasad from there. So remember it from that perspective also. That is the Prasad scheme. If I talk about the ministry, it is an initiative of Ministry of Tourism. As I have discussed, pilgrimage destinations will be developed here. Community-based development, there will be local communities which will be promoted here so that their handicrafts could be promoted on the religious lines. Okay, it is a central sector scheme. Then the next is, if I talk about, because tourism is being promoted, so infrastructure will be created in a better way here. Okay जी. And if I talk about the other important things, components here, ठीक है, public funding भी मिलती है और आपको central government जो है, it is providing 100% funding. Public funding is also lot, but it doesn't mean it is a centrally sponsored scheme. It is a central sector scheme. All the funding is basically being done by the central government. Now guys, coming to the last question, that is about the Udan scheme. As I have discussed, the Deoghar Airport has been inaugurated, and then the Prime Minister was briefing about the Udan scheme also. So let's discuss about the Udan scheme. The most common thing, Udan stands for Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. Okay, this is the main concept of this Udan scheme. Now let's talk about the scheme. Keyword, launched 2016, operational 10 years. Airlines need to provide 50% of the seats, ठीक है जी, at a subsidized rate. So keyword are airlines, 50% seats at subsidized rates. Then operators will be provided and will be operating on this RCS route for a period of 5 years. These are the keywords here. Okay. Now let's see how many of you know the answer, guys. Once again, I'm telling you the thing that I'm asking in each and every lecture of mine is the most important thing is, guys, when you have heard the scheme, instead of just moving towards the answer, pause the video, try to solve the question, and then analyze yourself whether I know that thing or not. Okay. Ultimate thing too I will be telling in the lecture itself, but the most thing how you could get the best out of this lecture is when you are solving these questions on yourself. Now if I talk about the thing here option number 4 is wrong because it is not 5 years, it is 3 years. So which means if fourth option is wrong, our answer will become option number 8, that is A and C. So this is how elimination method, this is the core, this is the main chunk of eliminating the option, because this can really help you in solving the questions within 5 to 10 seconds. And time management is a very important thing when you are attempting these kind of questions in the examination. So guys, talking about UDAN scheme, as we know, UDAN stands for Udai Desh Ka Nagarik. It was a scheme that was launched in 2016 by Ministry of Civil Aviation. Okay? It is implemented by AAI, that is Airport Authority of India. Now when we talk about the important thing here, airline operators, they have to confront some certain specifications in which they have to provide 50% of this capacity, okay, 50% of the capacity for the aircrafts which have minimum 9 seats and maximum 40 seats, and for helicopters, if their seats are less than 13, it is required that they should provide 100% of the seats, okay, but if capacity is more than 13, then 13 will be considered as the maximum number of seats there. Now, operationalization of the scheme is basically for the period of 10 years. If I talk about the specific number of seats and the required amount, this is the keyword why we are saying Udai Desh Ka Aam Nagari, because here there is a fixed fare of 2500 for 1 hour of flying. So this is an important thing. Remember this keyword. It is 2500, but for 1 hour of flying. It is not a fixed rate of 2500 only. It is 2500 for 1 hour of flying. And for helicopter operation, it is rupees 2500 for 30 minutes of flight. This is the keyword, guys. These are the keywords where examiner play with you. He will say 2500 rupees for 5 hours. And we know 2500, 3 hours, 5 hours, 1 hour, we do not know. We will be saying because 2500 I know, this will be the right answer here. Okay? And helicopter 2500, 1 hour, 2 hour, we know only 2500 and we will be answering the question. So these are the things, guys, where we have to focus on for our upcoming examination. Okay ji? When I talk about the other important features, so yes, the viability gap funding will be provided. Okay, and here I have given you the procedure, that is viability gap funding will be available for a period of 3 years. And yes, the airline operators are basically being provided exclusively to operate the route for a period of 3 years. So guys, this was all about the important schemes or important topics that was seen on 12th and 13th of July. I hope you guys have liked the session. So if you guys have liked the session, kindly share the session with your friends also. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then to get the access of the free material that we are providing to you, kindly subscribe to our Telegram channel, the link for which is given in the description below. Now guys, a very important announcement. So as I've discussed in my previous session also, we are running a wow sale for all of you, in which you can get a flat 30% off plus an additional 20% off on all the courses that we are providing, that is RBI, NABARD or SEBI. What you have to do is use this code AEROTAP, which is available till midnight. This is the important thing. Jaldi avail kar lijiye is cheez ko. ठीक है जी? So guys, this was all about the lecture. So I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. ठीक है? Still, if you have any kind of doubt, you could comment about that thing also. Even you can drop me an email at hello@aerotap.co.in. You could also contact us on this number, that is 81462 07241. So I hope guys the lecture is fruitful for you. So keep learning. Bye bye.